A CCXP 2017 passou e muitas celebridades, artistas, diretores e atores passaram lá pelo stand do Omelete. E a gente já mostrou, a gente fez uma live de 300 milhões de horas, mas não dá pra você acompanhar tudo. E agora a gente vai fazer um resumo bem rápido das principais entrevistas que aconteceram lá no nosso estúdio dentro da CCXP 17. Dá uma olhadinha aí.
Essentially, the story and what was most attractive to me is Joel's character is the first orc on the police force. At the core of it, between our characters, is racism. So it was really interesting for me as an African American to play a character that's a racist cop against orcs.
Man, I'm not out here to be your friend. I need to know if shit pop up that you got my back.
So I love how David is playing on the different social castes and the social hierarchy of America. Whenever you can do it in that fantasy realm, you get to say things and do things that you wouldn't be able to if you were actually talking about the subject. So I loved being able to play around in that realm.
It's the same core girl, but we've moved now into 2017 and 18. The society had changed culturally, and I'm confident that all young men and women out here have a very different view of what is sexy. Yeah. And I think that kind of wit and strong personality is what gonna hopefully make people enjoy Laura. I mean, I personally liked her on the page, and I wanted her to be a character that any male or female want to hang out with.
How's your experience in the cartoon so far?
It's been amazing. We started working on it a long time ago. I mean, the show is based on me and my best friend from childhood, so we've known each other since we were 6 years old. So the show is like 30 years in the making, and it's about the two of us going through puberty. At 13, I don't know if Brazilians go through puberty or not. Do they go? Do you guys go through puberty?
Sometimes, yeah.
In and out.
Fernanda, você acabou de receber uma homenagem. Eu sei que foi muito emocionante lá no auditório Thunder. Conta um pouquinho pra gente como que foi esse momento.
Não, a gente se prepara, mas de repente é maior do que a gente poderia ter pensado. E um dia eu estou aqui, assim, impactada. O olho de vez em quando chora sozinho, mas vocês desculpem. Tá uma hora meio para baixo nesse país. Depende da gente levantá-lo, tá? E eu juro a vocês, um país sem cultura não se faz uma nação.
In spite of being such a universal team in Alita, you choose a cast that is very diverse. It's a very Latin cast. So can you talk a little about that?
Yeah, we really were just going for the best actors. But diversity is always, for me, something that I've always done. But it was great just to see that the best actors coming forward for the roles were of all ethnicities. And Rosa Salazar just happened to be the one that just captured all of our hearts.
You talk about diversity, it's also opportunity. It's also, giving an opportunity to a young female actress to have a starring role.
E você fala Roberto da Costa, só que você fala com o seu sotaque.
Ele fala...
Eu falo Roberto da Costa.
Costa. É carioca.
É carioca. Nate falou, ele tá falando meio diferente. O que ele tá falando? Ele tá falando português. Acho
Por que ele tá falando da Costa?
Pra mim era muito emocionante ver o Henry ali, porque você fala, cara, que demais. É assim, tipo, a Maisie Williams do Game of Thrones, é o Charlie do Stranger Things, né? É a Anya do The Witch e é o Henry. Tipo, vai muito Brasil. Eu olhava assim e eu falava, cara, que máximo, sabe?
I was raised in a very Christian family where Stephen King was considered contraband. So if I wanted to read Stephen King, I either had to tear the covers off the front of the book and glue it to a Christian book so my parents wouldn't know that I was reading it, or I would go under my bed and literally read Stephen King books, and I cut a hole in the box springs under my bed where a normal person would put like pornography, and I had Stephen King books up there, and my parents found my stash, they burned them in the fireplace. I wrote him a letter when I was 12. He signed some books for me and wrote me the most, just the letter you would want from your hero, more than anything else. And my parents were so moved that they lifted the band, like the Stephen King band.
Do you know any Portuguese word?
I do, yeah, a few.
Let's see.
I grew up too with a woman who's a big family friend of ours who lived with us for 6 years, who was from Sao Paulo. So when we first came here, she showed us around, and obviously when we were younger, she gave us coxinha, she gave us pão de queijo, guaraná, which I love. It's all the food. I know all the food, basically.
There's a lot of strong women on the show, and Renee was saying earlier, it's always nice to be saved by a man, but it's also nice to save yourself.
They're total badasses, all three, total badasses.
What I love so much is that I think sometimes when you see women fighting, they're fighting other women, and we fight each other a little bit, but what's really special is that we fight them. Okay.
As someone who grew up watching his movies, it's just a privilege to work for him and with him, and he tells great stories, doesn't he?
Yeah, you're hanging around him for 5 minutes, and you just hear the most amazing story about him and Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, we was in my trailer that time when he came by and he just told us a story about working with Stanley Kubrick like it was nothing.
People think of a spear and they think of something primitive or whatever, but it's firstly, it's not, but secondly, it, the reimagining of it, all of the connection to that weapon is, and working with it and finding the flow in it. It's different from the katana, because the katana is, it's a very heavy piece of metal, you know what I mean? And, the spear is a different thing. It's very long, it's taller than you. But, you have to, really find a way to move with it like it's your dance partner, while you're hurting other people, while you're taking care of the enemy.
When we're reading over the script, it was originally called Phantoms, then it was called Dino Rangers, then it became Power Rangers. When we first started filming the pilot, we weren't even sure it was going to get picked up. And then we find out it airs in 40 countries, in 90 languages. And 25 years later, I'm here looking at all my fans who've grown up. They're not so little anymore.
It's morphin' time! It's morphin' time! Tyrannosaurus!
It's a whole new story that's taking elements from the comics, but it's an original story. And the Spider-Verse is a part of the story. It's a big universe, but it's Miles' story. He's the hero of the movie. Peter is in the movie, but he's not the teenager Peter that you're familiar with. He's middle-aged, kind of washed-up Peter, who has to, for the first time, be a grown-up and mentor Miles and sort of pass the baton on to a new Spider-Man.
I don't see myself bringing my own signature. I think these movies they belong to a team of filmmakers. We had Colin Trevorrow, we had Steven Spielberg, we had Frank Marshall. So basically, it's like a filmmakers collaborative team. And of course, then your signature is something that you don't do in a conscious way.
O Cebolinha, do filme, live action, ele vai usar o cabelo dele mesmo ajeitado. E dá o efeito, o público vai aceitar. Nós fizemos uma adaptaçãozinha e ficou... Você vê o personagem, você recebe e aceita o personagem com as caracterizações que nós criamos para Mônica, Cebolinha, Cascão, Magali.
A gente foi construindo esse nosso universo, primeiro de uma maneira mais neutra, porque a gente queria alinhar todo o elenco para que o público comprasse esse continente. Chama Calha, nosso continente. A gente queria que o público...
Acho chique ter um continente próprio.
A Bruna é muito chique, né? Eu acho muito chique ser princesa.
Também é princesa má ainda.
Princesa má, é maravilhoso.
Every time you come back on a season, you don't know whether you're going to die or not. And how you know is David and Dan, the show creators, they call you up on your phone and they tell you that you're going to die. So that's what happened. They didn't tell me how I was going to die. So they let me read the scripts for the first time. And yeah, it's sad, isn't it? I was very sad.
And did you already knew a Portuguese word or something in Portuguese?
I think I knew obrigado, and I knew that, de nada was it's like the same as Spanish,
yeah,
right? And I knew that.
Yeah.
So I'm really nailing it.
Oh.
Eu amo vocês.
Yes!
Yeah, you
I nailed it!